Hello everybody, my name is Unemployed Dev. Welcome to my channel. Now, by the title of the video you already know what's all about. I will be making a full video game, not knowing anything about making games. Though I've experimented with the Unity game engine before and some Godot, I never actually tried to make a game. And to do it, I will have to learn the Unity engine, pixel art, music, and sound design. Which may sound like not too much, but it's actually so much I think I will die by my own hand in the process. And here I will be showing the progress. So first, what's this game about? Well, the main gameplay will be a 2D space roguelite. Do you know Risk of Rain 2? If not, don't worry, I will yap about it. The game consists of dying a lot, but each time you unlock new stuff to help you in the next run. These things are items that you can find in your runs that will boost your stats and do crazy shit when stacking a lot of them, to help you fight hordes of enemies and bosses. Also, a very characteristic thing of these games is that enemies get stronger with time, so you have to be quick and get harder, better, faster and stronger than them. But there will be more than that. I love Ultra Kill, and something I especially like about it is the secrets and Easter eggs, and I will have something like that here too. So expect something more than the core gameplay if you know what I mean. This roguelike thing is a pretty simple mechanic that got me completely addicted and has virtually infinite replayability. So I thought, fuck it, I'm doing my roguelike too. So I created a Unity project and so it began. Now if somebody knows Spanish, I already started another TikTok account where I posted some updates since almost day 1. But since I don't have a lot to show, I'm going to do a quick overview here anyways. I started by giving some movement to a default Unity sprite. I wanted that arcade Astros movement on my game. You know, that gliding thing where you glide around the screen, accelerating then decelerating? I made a simple health script for the player, and I created the first enemy. It was very simple. It couldn't even move, but it shoot and did damage. I started with some background made in Paint, mainly to see the player moving around because I don't really know if the player is moving with a solid color in the background. So the next week I made the basic shooting script for the player and gave it mortality. None shall escape death, including the enemy, who can die too now. I got the level up for the player working and for the enemy too. I made some XP orbs that the player can collect and the enemies drop. I like the idea of having to manually collect them. It forces the player to move and risk it. The players got some movement abilities too, a TP forwards and some invincibility frames when doing so. And in the next build I added some more enemies, one with a shotgun to blast the player up close, a missile ship to blast the player from far away, and a suicide drone to blast the player even harder. The enemies now have movement. It's not a full AI, not even half. They just pick a random point in a range relative to the player and go there. Since I actually have no idea how to make a proper AI, this is the best I have for now. This is a problem for another day. And finally, some important shit. I started with the items that you will find in the runs. Now, I must do a sensibility warning. I don't have any artistic experience. I don't know shit about color theory or how to even make a half-decent sprite. I draw with my mouse, my disgusting taste, and a free pixel art tool I found online that I can't even remember the name of. The first items were quite simple. The first one cranks up your base damage by a stunning 1. The second one is like the generic pickup range boost in this type of games. And the third one boosted your passive regen by 1% of max HP. All these items are simple and not very impressive by themselves, but these are the kind of items that you're going to find the most in your gameplay, and so the strength resides in stacking a lot of them. I also made another background that feels a tiny bit more like space, even though it's just white pixels in a black image. The next thing I did was adding a chest that randomly drops an item in the pool. Each item will have a different dropping chance depending on its rarity and the chest type, like expected. I also made an item that gave more charges for the movement ability and another one that gives you an orbitating orb that does damage. After that, I got the first legendary items. The first one I made was supposed to block one hit and then stun and damage a few random enemies, and I said supposed because the stun completely crashed the game for whatever reason, so I just left it like that after trying to fix it for like 2 hours. So, with the bug ignored, I moved to the next legendary item. Now, looking back at it, it feels too simple for a legendary, but whatever, I'll change it someday. The only thing it does is fully heal you when you fall under 20% HP and go on a massive cooldown. I also got a shield generator item, it's just some extra health that will protect you from a damage in a single hit. To continue with simple items, I got 2 more commons that boost acceleration and max speed separately. Maybe I will merge them into one, I don't know. But something more interesting I added in that build was a special ability for the player, the kind of ability that has a long cooldown but a good reward. A big fat bomb that does some good damage. I also forgot to mention that before that the player had an alt fire, a hit scan laser that does like 10 times the base damage. You know, now that I think about it, I involuntarily made the commando from Risk of Rain 2 into a spaceship. It's even suspiciously similar. I swear it wasn't on purpose. Anyways, when making the bomb, I was thinking of adding some sounds to the game to get a feeling of it. But I couldn't find a single free auto track that I liked. So the game is still mute for now. So, in the next build, I'll have, surprise, some more items! Yay! I made some more rare items, but not quite legendary, that increased explosion size and gave them primary fire multi-shot at the cost of accuracy and single fire bullet damage. So, to counter that a little, I added a common item that improves accuracy. Now, we are approaching the last builds I made. At this point, I had everything working, but the code, all the code, it was absolute garbage. It was impossible to read. I had like 5 scripts that were changing variables between them, and it was a nightmare to even make the smallest change. So I was thinking, I have to delete all of this shit and start new with some planning. So my first thought was to change engines and go to Godot, and I did try it. I liked the game engine, and on top of that it was open source. But when I started trying to rebuild everything there, the limitation of one script per object really threw me off. I couldn't find an easy way to get what I had in Unity working in Godot, so in the end I just rewrote the Unity mess I had and stayed there. I just like too much how easy it is to add modules and scripts to a single object in Unity. I'm 100% certain Godot has the same capabilities as Unity, I just already knew Unity better. So, after reworking some of the insides of the game, I added a new enemy, a flamethrower, and with it I added the fireburn effect to the player. I got a cheat console working too, to make it easier testing in-game, and for you to try out all the game I had right now. And finally, the last build I have right now added a couple more legendary items and some visuals to the game. The items are these. One that gives the chance on kill to summon a black hole that sucks enemies in and damages them. The other one delays one singular hit when you are under 20% HP, and when you receive it, it hurts less. So you know, it can save you in a pinch or be completely wasted by receiving a ridiculously weak attack. Also, I gave the player some extra movement with a sprint. I don't know if ship going faster could be called sprinting, but you get the idea. Go faster, can shoot while faster. Since I got stuck and I had no clue what to add next, I experimented with some visual effects. Did you ever see how your Risk of Rain items change your skin? Well, I do, and I like it a lot. It really shows how you progress and get stronger, so I tried to get something like that here too. I made a couple items have something like that. The summoned black hole and the item have this shader around them that makes everything like get sucked into it. I wasn't sure of giving to the player the same effect when picking it up, so I didn't. Actually, it's because I forgot and I just thought about it. The last item I added also gives the player an armor in the sprite. It's just the item sprite on top of the player, but you get the idea. The acceleration boost also now changes the color of the trail to match the item. Even though I think blue is supposed to indicate higher temperature than red and orange, so it doesn't make any sense that the item that makes you go faster makes your thruster go colder, but it's just a game and I didn't thought about it. The last visual effect I got was for the magnet, so that you know what your pickup range is. I wanted to have some sort of electric field, but it's easier to make this blue ring and call it a day for now. Well, so much for a quick overview, but now you know what the current state of the game is. It's barely a game yet, but I want to keep track of what I do, so I will be posting more updates whenever I can. Probably not nearly as long as this one, so don't worry about that. I want this game to be good, and I have many ideas for it. I know right now it looks like some generic roguelike, and it is right now, but I want to give it something different. I don't really know what yet. The way you unlock characters in this game, for example, I want it to be something more special than just completing 5 runs or go to that spot or do that specific thing in this stage. I already have a general idea of what to do, but I'm gatekeeping it, to give it some suspense and maybe make you watch more of the series of deadlocks. Please. So, right now I have 0 followers, I just started this channel and I don't really know if it will grow at all. But I know having a community of players who want to get involved in the developing stage of the game is very important. So, if anyone wants to try the game or has any ideas that they would like to see in this game, feel free to check out the description. I will be leaving a link in the game on itch.io and an invitation Discord server I made. Though I don't promise to add every single thing anyone suggests, I will try. Have a nice day. Bye.